City. He just can't keep his big mouth shut. Not even to chew, it seems, as he is always spouting out some nonsense about the evils of the GOP. True, he helped elect George W. Bush by backing Ralph Nader, and his guilt is still obvious. Advertisement. Which is why he went around the country warning liberals that Trump was going to win. Moore still has some connections to the real America despite his huge bank account, which he famously got from conning liberals with one-sided diatribes aimed to fatten his wallet, not their brains. But he will never admit that. He believes he is a man of the people, and so he has turned his ire towards President Trump. He smells money. Let's not delude ourselves as the liberals do and think he is fighting for truth, justice, and the American way. The guy is a conman, plain and simple, and liberals, if we know anything, love to be conned to a sleep in their little bubbles of elitism. If it feels good, do it, and who cares for the consequences? And it felt good for the liberals to support his new play on Broadway, just as all their money feels good in his wallet. To be fair, Moore says he is not raking in the cash on his new one-man celebration of his own arrogance. Which is a shame, because if you are going to ruin your career or reputation with a flop, you better get paid. And according to the Daily Caller, Michael Moore's new one-man Broadway show, The Terms of My Surrender, is a dud. A flop. Of epic proportions. And the New York Times, of all places, is leading the charge to tar and feather Moore and run his ass out of town. Times critic Jesse Green said of Moore's show, it is a bit like being stuck at Thanksgiving dinner with a garrulous, self-regarding, time-sucking uncle. Green has to make clear to the liberal audience that he agrees with Moore's politics, fearful they may run his ass out of town for saying otherwise. Don't get me wrong, Mr. Moore has led an exemplary life of progressive activism, he said before taking out the daggers. Moore affects a cute, common man delivery that fools no one, Green wrote. You don't have to disagree with Mr. Moore's politics to find that his shtick has become disagreeable with age. Audiences hoping for a bit of feel-good liberal therapy, let alone a good show, may be disappointed to find that Mr. Moore isn't very interested in them. He's not preaching to the choir, he's bragging to it. Advertisement. After telling Trump the F word, Jennifer Lawrence gets ultimate payback, and it hurts bad. One of the best actors of her generation, Jennifer Lawrence is yet another A-lister who has bashed our president. She believes the country is divided and angry, but she neglected to understand how much of that is due to the Obama administration. She called for peace, even though last year she said that if she met the president, she would tell him "fuck you." She was on the cover in the Vogue upcoming September issue, and there was an interview associated with the cover. Vogue published Wednesday. Lawrence said there must be a bridge between the American citizens who disagree on political stances. We can't continue this divide and anger. There are issues affecting us as human beings, not as liberals and not as Republicans. We have to protect the foundation of this country, and acceptance, Lawrence told the magazine. She said that if you preach acceptance, you should accept immigrants and Muslims too. Never mind that Islam is trying to destroy the illegal immigrants and us are breaking the law. Lawrence wants political enemies to reconcile. This is completely different from the stance she took towards Trump and his supporters in 2015 and 2016. If Donald Trump becomes president, that will be the end of the world, the Hunger Games star said. The end of the world? Come on. She made an appearance on the Graham Norton show last May. She attended a concert the same day as Trump, and she divulged her opinion on this. I was at a concert that I heard he was attending, so I had my full security. I was like, find Donald Trump, Lawrence explained. Because I was adamant on finding him and then making a video of me going, hey Trump, fuck you. Well, it's kind of common for losers to change their tune. She is at least more educated than she was last year. Advertisement. What do you New poll finds majority of Americans side with Trump on key issue. Are you one of them? With everything that the mainstream media pumps out over the airwaves, you would think that Trump's voters have all turned on him. The mainstream media loves pushing fake polls, like Clinton have a 96% chance of beating Trump. Well, this isn't true. It would seem that the majority of Americans did not see Trump's common-sense travel ban as a Muslim ban. According to the poll, 56% of the registered voters view the order as a terrorist hotspot restriction, while 37% said it is more likely Muslim ban. Advertisement. Although over half of those polled don't think the move was not an attempt to discriminate based on religion, a majority of the country disapproves of the executive order. The fact is, terrorists are killing us and we must stop them as much as possible. The Washington Examiner reported that 46% of Americans supported Trump's immigration order issued on January 27. The Anderson Robbins Research and Shaw and Company Research lead a poll of 1,013 registered voters across the country, and they conducted interviews via landline and cell phone. Moreover, the majority always sided with Trump, true patriotic Americans. President Trump is just getting started and he already has people siding with him. If only liberals left him to do his job. It shows for a fact that the fake news media is a bunch of liars. He works his hardest to make America great again. It is truly despicable the way that the media finds it appropriate to bash our president constantly. Yes, freedom of speech is there, but why can't we respect the leader of our nation? The leader of the free world deserves respect. If someone disagrees with you, it doesn't mean that you insult and attack them. You just have a different opinion. Trump keeps on winning. Advertisement. What do you think of all of this? Japan sends surprise to U.S. fleet in massive show of support for President Trump. Japan just sent a strong message to the rest of the world. That despite the liberal media's attempts to sow chaos, all is well and good, and they support President Trump and America. And are ready to take action to prove it. Advertisement. Allies are important, as President Trump knows, and if you listen to the media, all you will hear is that Trump makes our allies nervous. Not true. Trump has a great relationships around the world. And after North Korea threatened to attack Guam, Japan proved their loyalty. Japan's new defense minister came out today and said he stands with Trump and added a special surprise for our Pacific fleet that is in harm's way should any missiles fly. He said that his country's military could shoot down the missiles before they reach Guam. Japan said they will activate its Aegis destroyer missile defense system. Defense Minister Itsunori Onodera told the National Diet, Japan's parliament, in response North Korea's threat. According to Reuters, a spokesman for the Korean People's Army, KPA, threatened, the KPA strategic force is now carefully examining the operational plan for making an enveloping fire at the areas around Guam with medium to long-range strategic ballistic rocket Hwasong-12 in order to contain the U.S. major military bases on Guam, including the Andersen Air Force Base. Japan responded by reminding the world that any attack against Guam is a threat and attack against Japan, and cited Japan's mutual defense agreement with America as just one of the reasons they will stand with America. Japan sits about 620 miles to the east of North Korea, and they have been watching the growing threat seriously. Most of the missiles North Korea tests land in the Sea of Japan, which, as they say, is too close for comfort. Sadly, Obama and Bush and the rest of the establishment sat on their hands and did nothing, so now Trump has to clean up the mess. It is a national disgrace what they have allowed to happen. Guam lies about 1,600 miles south of Japan, and opting to include that island under its missile defense protection is a welcome change. Japan had previously said they would only shoot down North Korean missiles if they were aimed at Japan. Advertisement. But with this new defense policy, the civilian government will officially allow Japan's military to defend U.S. territories and other their allies in region in the event of North Korean missile. Polling expert accurately predicts which tandem Senate seats will switch to GOP in 2018. There are numerous polls out that are saying that the GOP is doomed in 2018 and the midterm elections next year. There is one problem: the Senate doesn't seem to be in as much danger. Eric Bradner of CNN has bad news for Democrats: they shouldn't expect an easy ride in 2018. Well, if you like to bet, get ready for a fun midterm election. Bradner said that nearly 10 Senate races across the nation would likely flip this year. Guess what? Only 2 of them are Republicans. Advertisement: the massive battles in the primaries are making things more difficult than they should be. The Republicans have the advantage. The Democrats are running 10 senators for re-election. That's a lot. The states where Trump won in 2016 are also the states where the Democrats are up for re-election. The GOP, meanwhile, only has 2 members who currently look like they could be in real jeopardy. At stake is control of the Senate, where the GOP currently holds 52 of 100 seats. Democrat Senate seats most likely to flip: Missouri, Senator Claire McCaskill; Indiana, Senator Joe Donnelly; West Virginia, Senator Joe Manchin; Montana, Senator John Tester; North Dakota, Senator Heidi Heitkamp; Wisconsin, Senator Tammy Baldwin; Ohio, Senator Sherrod Brown; Florida, Senator Bill Nelson. Republican Senate seats most likely to flip: Nevada, Senator Dean Heller; Arizona, Senator Jeff Flake. Democrats are on their heels out of pocket in 2018. According to David Wasserman, writing at 538, Democrats could run the board in swing districts and still be in a terrible hole. Even if Democrats were able to win each seat that are up for re-election that Trump won or Hillary was close, they would still lose in both the Senate and the House. Advertisement: what do you think of this? Are the Democrats still struggling because of Hillary? Breaking: Australia takes massive stand for America, puts squeeze on North Korea. Nuclear tensions between North Korea and the United States are escalating. North Korea threatened to launch a missile attack against Guam, an island territory in the western Pacific that belongs to the USA. As a response to this threat, the U.S. President Donald Trump said that North Korea will meet fire and fury if they continue threatening our country. The whole world is watching this ongoing feud and everyone is waiting to see the next moves of both countries. If North Korea launches a missile attack, the United States will not sit and wait to see what happens next. Our country is more than ready to defend itself, even if that means the conflict may end up in war. Some countries are standing with America against North Korea and their leader Kim Jong-un. Among those is Australia. Their Prime Minister Malcolm Turnbull announced that if North Korea attacks the U.S. mainland or its territories, Australia will instantly join the conflict. Breitbart reports, America remains by its partners, including Australia obviously, and we remain by the United States, Mr. Turnbull told nearby radio station 3 on Friday morning. So be sure about that. On the off chance that there's an assault on the U.S., the ANZUS Treaty would be conjured and Australia would go to the guide of the United States, as America would go to our guide in the event that we were assaulted. The Australia, New Zealand, United States Security Treaty, also known as the ANZUS Treaty, ties the U.S., Australia and New Zealand together in a pact to cooperate on military issues in the Pacific Ocean area. If any of these 3 countries face an attack, each country will meet the common threat. Turnbull also said that he talked about North Korea's action with the Vice President of the United States Mike Pence. According to Turnbull, it's the worst flashpoint on the planet today. He also added that the terms of the Australia U.S. Union are clear. But be under no misapprehension, in terms of defense, we are joined at the hip, he said. The American alliance is the absolute bedrock of our national security. If there is an attack on the U.S., we would come to their aid. Now, how that manifests itself obviously will depend on the circumstances and the consultations with our allies, according to Patriot Report. If North Korea attacks our country or any territory of ours, they will meet fire and fury, as President Trump said. We have our allies like Australia and New Zealand to defend us as well. Hopefully, more countries will follow their example.